right, so let's move along. So, Theater 2, we have
Theater
Ronin
2.
from 1998, starring Robert De Niro, Jean Reno, Natasha McAloney, Stellan
McElhone.
Skarsgård, and Sean Bean. Directed
Uh,
by John Frankenheimer, who I don't think I know from anything else, but maybe I do. I don't really pay it too much attention to who directs things. Um, Jody,
well,
this is your
just
movie.
Okay. What does that mean?
Why Ronin? You
Why
have to give us
Ronin?
the
Oh,
plot
okay.
synopsis as well.
Oh, well, I didn't have anything prepared.
oh, he
Google
didn't
it.
tell you.
No one told me
That.
that. But that's okay.
Okay.
You know what? I can pull up a plot synopsis really quickly here.
Yeah.
Just kind of
Something.
Well, I'm just gonna
Look,
say,
little. Well,
Jody, I thank you for coming on the show and bringing an actual good movie because I enjoyed the shit out of this movie. Actually, I quite liked this movie.
all right. So basically, Ronin
well,
is.
before
Oh, go ahead.
before you get into the plot synopsis, basically, we kind of the way we do this is we give
Okay.
a little like what we quick think, and then we'll throw the trailer, and then you can sort of run through the plot.
Oh, okay.
So,
Sounds good.
yeah, yeah. My quick thoughts on this film. I felt like I was watching a Grand Theft Auto mission, and I wish there was a different lead actor than Robert De Niro. Those are my quick thoughts on the movie.
I would have chosen a different lead as well, but he was fine.
Um, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on that. Robert De Niro, I think, he was an obvious cast for the fact of who he was. Not
Yeah.
necessarily the best person to play that part. And when you look at the cast is good. There's a lot of good
Sean
players in
Reno,
here.
Sean Bean,
Jonathan Price, I absolutely adore.
Jonathan Price.
He is one of my favorite Bond villains, even though he was in one of the most terrible of the Bond movies. But I really enjoy him, and I think he does really well. The lead definitely could have been played by somebody else, but Jean Reno, obviously fantastic. I love him.
Me too. He's great.
Yeah, the thing that one of the reasons why I picked this movie was because I thought that you guys probably hadn't seen it, because it got overshadowed by a lot of other movies when this one came out. This one came out in '98, I believe. And
yeah, 98,
Yeah,
the
98.
same week that Rush Hour 2 came out, and it was
Yes.
apparently $26 million behind Rush Hour 2.
Oh, God, this is
Also
so much better
ended
than
as-
Rush Hour 2.
it's one of those movies.
I know, maybe.
Pick a Rush Hour movie. Those movies aren't going to hold up, I'll tell you.
Yeah, but
I love Jackie Chan.
Yeah, but you have obviously Skarsgård, which is he's always good in movies that he's in. I think he's actually pretty weak in this movie
Hold it.
compared to some of the other stuff he does. But yeah, I overall the reason why I picked the movie is because number one, I thought it was a movie that neither one of you probably have seen. I thought if anybody had seen it, it would probably be Murphy. But I'm pretty sure Davan wouldn't have seen this movie. So not that that's any slant to
There
you,
may have
Davan.
been a chance I would have seen it with my grandfather back in the day. I kind of remember the trailer and the poster more or less than anything.
The trailer
I don't
was played
really
on a
remember.
lot of movies. This was a
Yeah.
movie that was very well advertised.
Because it had De Niro.
Yeah, well, De Niro obviously, but think about De Niro, 1998.
Why they kept exactly like
Heat
huge.
around the same time. Heat was in 96, I think, or 95.
Casino was around there.
Casino, like he's massive.
I was told the fact that we're not covering Heat for a heist film is a sacrilege, but that's a conversation for another day.
That is
You've
actually
never seen Heat?
Heat is
I've
an amazing
seen
movie.
Heat.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've
well,
seen Heat. I love
it's
Heat.
good.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Heat's a good movie.
It's anyway.
All right, hit the trailer.
Yeah, no, let's hit the trailer and we'll really get into the meat of this.
You ever kill anybody?
I hurt somebody's feelings once.
I love that line.
I
Yeah,
never
me
walk
too.
into a place I don't know how to walk out of.
That's the line that like hooked me on this movie. Actually, then I was.
Oh, I know you.
I don't think so.
De Niro's
is
actually
like
pretty
if-
good in this role.
It's a small world.
It's like
He's
Nick
good, but there's so
Fury
many
and
people
the
that would be better.
Unprofessional had a mission
Yeah,
together.
He was hired to lead a mission
This is what we're after.
to recover a package
We need to take it intact.
See,
so
there's
several
pretty
men
much
will
no
be
way to
turned
make
and
an interesting
prevented.
trailer out of this.
My
movie.
kind of job.
that some are willing
I
to
think that
die
might have been
for.
might have been it.
Relax, darling. Just a game. Could you take a picture of me and my wife? Get the background.
Guy goes for the case, other guy's protecting the principal. Oh, they're good.
And everyone is willing to kill for.
I want $100,000. I want it up front. I want another $100,000 when you get the case.
All good things come to those who wait.
Target is on the way.
We've gotten the word. We're moving.
Come on, let's go.
You don't want to go in there.
Get out of here. Walk away. Walk away. Let's go.
How did you know it was an ambush? That's
Walk
the first
away.
thing they teach you. Who taught you? I don't remember. That's the second thing they teach you.
We've made a good plan, and we're gonna stick with it.
What's this girl work for?
Are you afraid?
Of course I'm afraid. You think I'm reluctant because I'm happy? Who are our employers?
I'm not under any obligation to let you know
If you
what.
are not, then the price has got to go up.
It's not gonna happen.
The girl sold us out. We're following the wrong people.
Man, they're giving you everything in this trailer. I like that too. The truck tips over, but then rights itself and keeps going. That was a pretty slick,
Presents
practical.
Robert De Niro.
Like,
I won't hurt you.
GTA.
Ronin.
You worried about saving your own skin? Yeah, I am. Covers my body.
Yeah, I like that line too.
Yeah,
He's got a lot of good. He's got a lot of good
Yeah,
stuff in there.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
Have a lot of
Like it.
a couple things I just wanted to say before you get into the synopsis there, Jody. One, it's funny when you get to see their gang and you just immediately like, oh, one of these things is not like the other. Like it's a bunch of famous people and then this other guy who's the driver, but you're like, oh, it's just not going to work out well. for him, I can tell you.
Spoilers wise, he actually lasts a good long time in the movie compared to some of the other people.
No, he didn't. He didn't
did.
outlast anyone on that crew. No, he didn't.
You're talking the driver?
Yeah.
Skip
He
Suda,
lasted about.
Larry.
Oh,
halfway through?
he outlasted Sean Bean on the team, but not Sean Bean didn't die.
Well,
Smoking Larry.
Yeah,
Smoking
Smoking Larry.
Yeah. All right. So
And,
let's
and
go with
also,
the synopsis, I guess. Oh,
the other thing I wanted to say was like, because you're about to do the synopsis, what I think was a good entry to this movie is the title and that whole Ronin explanation that they do, because that gives you like a perspective to view Robert De Niro's character from.
yes.
They don't tell you anything, but as long as you just
Nope.
think of him as this Ronin, who of course used to work as a spy for the CIA, likely,
Yeah.
but now is not because he's a Ronin. He
Yeah,
has
this
no
is what
master
happens
now.
when all the spies are done.
Yeah.
You
When
know,
all
they
this,
start
what do
doing
how do they
freelance
make
guys.
money? Yeah.
Did you guys know that that a Ronin is a samurai that is disgraced and out on a path? Because
Yes,
they tell us
say
that
it.
information like 5 times throughout the movie.
Not only
in
that, they
different
have
ways.
miniatures.
Oh,
Yes,
they got
that-
miniatures. They talk about it in French.
I didn't like that scene when they talk about the 47 Ronin story. That, like, even the ending that he's like, "Do you know why? What they did after that? They killed themselves." I'm just
Yeah,
like,
they slit themselves.
What?
Fun fact:
Like,
that little story apparently inspired the film 47 Ronin, that was later made like in 2010
Comic
or
book.
whatever with
which
Keanu.
Well, it was
based on
also
the
a comic book, yeah.
47 Ronin.
Well, yeah, but yeah, anyway, what the thing is, anyway. So let's get into the plot synopsis of this.
Yeah,
daring
go for it,
beast
Jody.
of
So
a
Deidre,
film.
which is played by Natasha, I can never remember how to say her last name.
Micheloni? I think
Micheloni, I
it's
think.
Micheloni.
Yeah, puts together a team of
McClellan?
experts that she's tasked with stealing a valuable briefcase, which the contents are a mystery. We actually never do find out anything about what's in it. The international team includes Sam, which is played by Robert De
Skates.
Niro, which is
I
an
like
actor-
that though. That we
I
didn't find
do
out what
too.
was
Yeah,
in it.
it's very Pulp Fiction-y. Basically played by Robert De Niro, which is an ex-intelligence officer. along with Vincent, which is Jean Reno, Gregor, which is Stellan Skelhorn. He plays kind of like a computer ops kind of guy, and various others. As their operation gets
KGB.
under, yeah, they're from all different international teams and stuff like that, and obviously they're not working for them anymore.
All but one, let's just say. Which comes
well,
up
maybe somebody is, but I don't want to give away everything. But as their operation gets underway, several team members are found to be very untrustworthy, which is very true, and everyone must complete the mission with a watchful eye on everyone else. So basically, not only is it kind of like it's the one thing I like about the movie is the fact that it's a heist movie, it's also a spy thriller, and it's also essentially a nobody trusts nobody kind of scenario where everybody
double crosses all over the
place. There's nothing but double crosses. They should have called this movie Double Crossing, because it would have been just as good.
De Niro's expecting it the whole time, the double crosses, except
he's the only one that's actually super skeptical throughout the entire movie. He's like, everybody's an asshole.
Very aware of his surroundings.
Yeah, he's very aware of who he's working with and what could possibly go wrong. But overall,
when they get to that tunnel, he's just like, "I'm not going."
One of the first scenes is well, not the first scene, I guess, but probably a couple minutes in anyway. The scene here where they're about to meet up to basically pay off and get something in return, and essentially, De Niro as well as I think Jean Reno was the two that didn't go, right? Because it was Sean Bean.
Yeah, no.
Reno goes with him.
Oh no, Reno does go with him. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just
but
like, look, I'm gonna go.
And De Niro's just like, we're gonna get killed if we go over there.
Yeah,
like, what are you guys doing? Like,
let's walk into a death chamber. Like that's what we're doing.
You get the impression that each one of these people have certain skill sets, but they also are very, very oblivious to certain things of the job. De Niro's character is very well versed in
all aspects,
all of this stuff, whereas Reno's kind of like that as well, but he's also kind of the tough guy.
But
where
Sean Bean's character is not at all.
Sean Bean's character is the weakest link at the beginning of this movie.
He's supposed to be the weapons guy. That's who he says.
Well, he's the weapons guy.
Secure him these weapons.
Yeah,
and he does know weapons because he opens up the trunk and like 2 seconds later he's like, it's not all here. Like he recognizes right away that it's
he knows what's there, what's not there, and what's missing.
But that's so sketchy because then they're like, no, it's in the next car that's gonna park mysteriously in this tunnel.
Yeah, and it's gonna park all the way down there, and it can't be driven up or anything. So you got to walk over.
Don't bring it over here.
But the thing with Sean Bean's character too is the other two, Jean Reno and De Niro, are just sitting there cool, and Sean Bean's character is sweating bullets, man.
Oh yeah, he's not comfortable,
and he's playing it well. Like he looks stressed out, man. He's a good actor.
Yeah. But one of the big reasons why I picked this was the number one, as I said, I didn't think either one of you guys would probably have seen it, and if you did see it, you definitely wouldn't remember it. That is probably one of its biggest flaws, is the fact that it's a movie that in 10 years you're not going to remember the plot and you're going to watch it again. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But I'm a big car guy, and I'm also a big practical effects with cars guy. And if you want a movie where you see nothing but a lot of cars getting damaged in practical ways, this is the movie for you. And that gets back to the analogy of this is like a Grand Theft Auto mission, because it kind of is. It really is. There's a lot of the makeup of that. Yeah.
I got on to that point, Jody. I'm not a car guy. So when there's a car chase scene in a movie, I usually just glaze over and I'm super bored. This is like the first car chase in a movie that didn't bore me to tears.
Oh,
this is a friggin' really good car chase.
Well, and not only that, but it's a practical car chase. Like you're not seeing like Fast and Furious type things where they're like
I don't want to see it
with no damage, and like these cars are getting mutilated as they're driving through, and they're hitting things, they're losing bumpers, they're like everything's going wrong with these cars, right? Like so it's
there's even the point where he's just like
Paris.
the driver guy's
basically, yeah.
going to hide sort of off the road. He goes just over that kind of like hill.
Yeah,
to
he
go
just
off
he
road.
just lofts over
He
it.
just go, but he does it too fast, and you just hear the car.
Oh
go,
yeah, and you can
I'm
see
like,
the
oh,
car, like
no.
the front end hits and like something falls off of it as he does it, and he's kind of
Oh
like,
yeah, man.
oh.
And that's before the mission. I'm like, you dummy,
Yeah.
you could have just eased down over
It's
that
really
bank.
car crash porn. I think is the easiest
Uh,
way to explain this movie. There
But
is other things,
I
but
liked it though.
the car
Yeah, I
crash
like
porn is
that
definitely
stuff.
good in this.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah,
man.
the car crashing was just all the vehicle stuff was very like top notch in the film.
Yeah, I think
And
all the
the
practical
driving.
effects I think were really well done. Even like the gunshots and stuff like that, I thought were really well done. A lot of the double crossing you don't kind of see coming. You know something's going to happen, but you don't know who's going to be the one that's going to initiate it.
It happens fast in the
Not only
way.
does it happen fast, but there's a time where there's like 3 double crosses within like 10 minutes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
We
it's
can
like
get into
bang,
spoilers
bang, bang.
here on this podcast, Jody, if you want to get into like a bit more detail.
Oh yeah, we
okay.
spoil the crap out of everything.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know really where to start. Now, I will say that the last time I watched this, which was yesterday, it was night and I was very late, so I might gloss over things that maybe you guys might be interested in, so feel free to jump in. But basically,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, did we get to that point yet? Where the Stellan Skarsgård first double crosses him.
He's really the main double crosser to begin with. Yeah,
But it just happens so fast in the way he does it. That's why you don't see it coming. Like he does.
Yeah.
His job is he's supposed to come out and get the case,
Yep.
and secure it.
Yeah,
But
and what he does is
he has a second one with him. Yeah,
he does
And
the
he
old
has this
swapper, right? Yeah, where he
Yeah,
nails
but
the other one
it's
to
like-
himself. Yeah.
and it's handcuffed to the original guy. But he has this device that just pops the handcuff off and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he puts the case in a black bag and gives De Niro the other case. It's so slick. It happens so fast. I
Well-
didn't even realize what happened until De Niro says it.
And I absolutely love the explanation on what the case is made out of, because that
Yeah.
to me really brings the entire movie together, and it really gets our third act going, which I guess we should probably get into that until we get to that point. But basically, yeah, Skarsgård is the first person who really does do something bad to the point where basically they're going to stop this convoy. They're going to grab this bag or this case, I guess it is. We don't know what's in it. Like it could be anything. It could be like, the button to the nuclear warheads. It could be, private pictures of Obama. We don't know. All right. Which obviously in 98 wouldn't have been a big deal anyway, but who knows? But either way, everybody wants this damn thing.
The reason I like that we don't get to see that though is I think that's the point. It's just like because these 4 people or 5 people, whatever, they bring chaos upon France and stuff, man.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
the
like
chaos
Paris
they
is
wrought
basically
in
under
a few
attack by
days.
this group. Yeah,
It's insane, and that's why
Yeah.
it's insane how there's like no cops around. There should be cops on every square inch of Paris after the first day they were there, basically.
Yeah,
And they're
no,
not.
but they're all
still
over the
doing all
place.
these
And they're
guns.
also not in one area. Like they were in Paris
No,
for
they're
one
not.
day, and then they're in
Yeah,
Nice the
that's
next
true.
day and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it does travel, and I get that, but
There should be more cops
It's a
everywhere.
tour of
'cause
France.
it really is a tour.
Criminal tour of France.
It really is.
There's
Yeah.
There's just gunfights everywhere and explosions, and the authorities just blame it on the Sinn Féin, and they're just like, yeah, it's just
Well,
the bloody
and if-
Irish.
And if you think about it, every single one of these characters are played by people that have been in spy movies. Like these are all spy-like movies. I'm not familiar with Natasha's, areas, but my
She
understanding
was in
is
the Truman Show.
I know she was in the Truman Show, yeah, but that's not really a spy movie.
She was
Well, I guess in a
Karen
way it
in,
kind of is. But,
Californication.
Yeah, they're spying
but
on him.
like for instance, 1998, when you think about it, even Sean Bean. Sean Bean was the bad guy in Goldeneye. Like that was
This
only a
is
couple of years before that.
surprisingly one of the few movies where Sean Bean doesn't die, which is just like
Very
wait, what?
odd.
Really?
Yep, very odd to begin
Yeah,
with.
very odd. I was
It's like the
expecting
perfect
that
movie to kill
happen.
him.
But also he's
Yeah, I
got
know.
top billing and he's out in like probably
Yeah.
the first maybe
The
15
first
minutes.
30, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
30
talk
minutes.
about that
I would say
scene
30
a bit
minutes.
later.
Yeah.
Because I really like that scene.
Yeah.
But,
I'm not very prepared, guys, quite honestly, because I didn't know this was what I had to do to bring to the table.
no.
So feel free to
We
take
always,
over. It's not a problem. But
we're
I
moving
won't be
along
offended.
there. There's double crosses left and right.
Oh, there
and
is.
They find
And
out that
Yep.
she is a double cross as well because she is Sinn Féin. And,
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things where the only person who really knows what the hell is going on and he's really kind of keeping in line is actually De Niro's character. He knows the entire time. He knows there's going to be shit's going to go down. There's going to be somebody's going to double cross them. He's always looking at everybody. The only person he ends up really trusting through most of the movie is Jean Reno's character.
Yeah.
Which we see at the end. They kind of are friends really at the end of the movie, or at least implied anyway. But you know, it's just, you know, there's so many crazy little scenes in this movie that I find are just fun. Like, it's like, if you're going in for a very intellectual movie, I don't think this is it. This isn't an intellectual movie. There are some pretty smart scenes in it, but I think overall this is just one of those movies where if you're into kind of spy thrillers and car porn, this is it.
The dialogue's strong and the performances are strong.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I like the setting of.
There are some dialogue that could be a little weak, especially the bad guys.
I feel like Jonathan Pryce and Natasha McElhorn kind of put on the roughest Irish accents I've ever heard.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I think Natasha's actually is real.
She's British. She's not Irish.
Oh, is she British? Oh, okay. I thought she was Irish. But obviously, you know, Jonathan Pryce's accent is terribly wrong. But if you can kind of get past that, I do like his character. I like some of the parts of the plot that he's in. I think
that whole scene there, with the ice.
Oh, the scene with the ice rink and all that. Yeah, it's just, he's brutal. He's so brutal in this movie, and you know, and again, this is you know, this is a guy who played a Bond villain, and you know, like you know, this might have been the reason why they got him to play a Bond villain, right? Like, you know, well, when did Tomorrow Never Dies and come out? That was
after 1998.
Actually, I think it would have been around the same time, if I'm not mistaken, because it was a couple years after GoldenEye. 97. So there you go. He played it just before he did this one. So there you go. But
he was the hot commodity for a spy.
Well, he was the bad guy anyway. He was the typical bad guy to bring in, you know, the smart but, you know, interesting bad guy, I guess. But I think Skarsgård probably has the most kind of bland performance out of everybody, but
See, really, I thought he had like one of the more solid performances. I kind of liked how menacing he was. He was honestly the one.
He's just quiet, reserved character.
Yeah. He is a very quiet, reserved character. Yeah, so maybe that's part of the reason why I thought he was kind of a little held back. I think, but you know, because we've seen some very interesting things with him. But you know, he's very muted in this movie, I think. Until near the ends of him anyway, which spoilers. But
well, there was like the hint of his character here with like the coffee cup scene, which kind of like played in a couple times. You know,
yes,
nice reflexes.
Like, I didn't catch on this, but that was basically Robert De Niro like testing the people around him. You know, he tests him with the coffee cup scene, and then later, you know, he you know. Basically, Sean ambushes the coffee with Coffee Bean, you know, to basically.
But like the line there too, right? where he's just like, nice reflexes. He goes, old habits die hard.
Yeah. Like, this is one of those movies, and I know it's kind of a you know, fun thing for people to say about movies, but this really is a movie that when you watch it twice, you get a lot more out of it. You see a lot of the subtleties.
Those are usually my favorite movies.
Yeah, you do see a lot of subtleties that you don't see on the first playback, where especially when it comes to De Niro's character. De Niro's character is testing everybody throughout the entire movie. He's always observing things. He's observing what they're doing. There's a scene with him and Reno, and it's during right before they grab the case and they do that ambush. You can actually see him watching him, and he's watching where he's standing. And the reason why he's doing that is he wants to know whether or not he's going to run, right? So it's a subtle thing, but when you look at it, you kind of notice that he's really paying attention to Reno, because Reno is essentially the guy on the other side of him on that trail. So he's the guy he has to really rely on, and he has to rely on him as well. So he's kind of watching him, and instead of watching the actual mark, which is the the convoy of cars that are coming, he's actually watching him half the time, which is something that you wouldn't normally notice, but he really is portraying the fact that he does not trust any of these people that he's working with. Like
he plays this character very well. Like,
he
really
does, but I also agree with the fact that another lead would be better. I think
someone less well known, someone you could get into the character a little more.
Well,
I think
this
just
could have been a
somebody
movie
that-
that could have made somebody, right? Like this could have
Yeah.
been you could have got an
Yeah.
unknown actor and make them into a star in this movie. Just by
yeah,
just by having
exactly.
those
I could have
subtleties.
easily watched like Chris Pine or even like Chris Evans in a role like this, and it would have made it so much more. Like I kind of foresaw it like as a. It was very Nick. It was like a Nick Fury film almost in a sense. Like if Robert De Niro was Nick Fury and John Reno was basically the professional, if they tried to frame it like that, that could have made this like a lot more enticing. And I found
Usually they should have cast David Hasselhoff. David Hasselhoff.
I don't think that
in
would
the
have
lead
been.
role.
I don't
Perfect
think that would
movie.
have been. You know, in this
No.
film, Cary
Uh-huh.
Grant.
You kidding me?
Cary Grant.
Cary
in this
Grant
movie
would have played the shit out of it. Freaking right.
He would have with a cane. Like how old was Cary Grant at the time? There's, I mean, oh jeez.
No, he was
I'm
probably
kidding.
dead at the time,
Good at
man.
the
Yeah, I'm kidding, but
See,
but yeah, there's a
ironically,
lot
I
of
was
subtlety in
thinking
it.
like a Jean-Claude Van Damme or something, you know,
No.
because he was kind of in his prime at the
you
time.
need an actor.
You need an actor,
need
not
an
not an
actor,
action
man.
star. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. You know,
There's
I
no
would've-
way you would have
you know
Robert
who
De
I
Niro
would've-
and Jean-Claude Van Damme up for the same role.
It sounds really bad, but work with me here for a second. What if this was Val Kilmer? Think about that for a second. Did you ever see The Saint?
Ooh.
Ever see The Saint?
Yeah.
Val Kilmer
Saint's
did a
okay.
really good job. I thought he did a
Yeah,
pretty good
I
job.
could see
So
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer in the lead on this? You
I
know,
don't think he would get the subtleties.
I don't
he would
think-
handle
yeah.
the subtleties the way De Niro
yeah,
does. De Niro goes
Niro
all in
definitely
on
does
his
the subtleties.
characters.
He does.
Like-
He does. Even if they're not.
That's why
his
he's one of the
favorite
best.
character, he'll still do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Jean Reno character, he plays the professional in another movie. That's basically the way I felt it. But
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because that's what makes Reno good. I like Reno as the tough, gritty guy. I think he does it well. I think I like the chemistry between these two. I think they did
Yeah, me
really
too.
well.
Yeah.
I don't like the chemistry between him and the girl.
No, you know what? I almost checked
It's
out of this
brutal.
movie when they forced them
Well, they're doing
there
surveillance,
was a-
right? Yeah.
in the
Snap
car with them
away.
making out and stuff, and like her. Just
Oh
being
yeah,
wild,
dude.
Like,
The
But look at De Niro.
stakeout-
De Niro is-
this. That was
Oh,
the worst.
That was brutal.
I
Okay,
was
no,
checked
no,
out
but
of
yeah,
the
no,
movie.
no. Look, he's just grinning. From
He's
ear to
right
ear
in the
and she's
character.
playing it stone cold.
That
He's
guy's
right
great.
into the character, and she's like, "I don't want to be there."
This,
Yeah.
This again, this was a moment for me. I'm just like, what the fuck is this about? It's like, oh, we're just making out now. That's what this is. It's like, oh, they're hiding from the cops, but then it turns into like
So
she's just like
lame.
full on. Like, yeah, let's do this. It was
Yeah, she's
very
just
out
horny.
of like not necessary.
This
didn't need to
scene
be done.
definitely didn't need to be this for sure.
It
I-
screamed
No, it did not.
as only being put in there because Hollywood needs to have some sort of
They need to have something for
sexual
the trailer. Yeah.
romance.
Yeah.
Like,
or
there has
De
to be some
Niro
sort
was
of-
just like, I need to be kissing a
Yeah.
leading lady in this film. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it could
Yeah.
be something
It
silly
could've been
like
something
that.
That
like
part
yeah.
sucked. I'm glad it didn't go anywhere. If she had showed up because she loves him in the cafe at the end, I would have hated this movie.
I'm actually totally okay with the fact that they didn't do that. I actually
what I'm
think it
saying.
would be. I think the fact that De Niro's character comes off as being kind of a lone gunman kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like he's a guy that really doesn't want to work with people, but he's kind of forced to. You know, so I
Tells her to
think
walk away.
like even though I agree with you guys, I don't think Robert De Niro might have been the best pick for the lead on this. I still think he didn't phone it in. I still think it was a good.
He
He
Fine
did it
with it.
serviceable. You know what? Actually, who would have been really good for this role at the time? Patrick Stewart. Put Patrick Stewart in this role. I think he would have fucking killed it.
Well, Patrick Stewart, I'm never going to disagree.
Well, yeah, I'm willing to watch Patrick Stewart in anything. But it's I don't know if I would go that far. John Voight.
I would have been playing a different character likely in this movie.
John Voight, maybe?
like Patrick Stewart would have been good in Price's role, but Price was good too.
Actually, yeah, Patrick Stewart would have been great as one of the bad guys. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
The thing I like about Jonathan Pryce's character through the movie is you don't get a lot of explanation on him. He just kind of shows up,
just that he's
causes
Sinn
some
Fein.
chaos, and then he takes off again. And he's gone for a little while, and then he comes back again.
He's a
I
known
like how he
Irish
takes care
terrorist,
of Larry, the
that's about all
driver
you know.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, he's supposed to
he
be like
takes care of
Seamus
Larry all
O'Rourke.
right.
Some
Yeah.
He's Seamus.
Poor
yeah.
Larry. Yeah. So apparently Skip Sudith was he asked to like do a lot of his own stunt driving in some of his scenes.
Oh, really?
And I was just I was like, who is this guy? Like, what's he been in? I don't.
I'm
get-
not
he's been
familiar
in,
with
like,
his
a fair
catalog.
handful of TV shows.
He was
I'm
the
not-
obvious
I'm not
guy who
entirely
was
familiar
gonna
with his
die in
catalog.
that crew.
Oh yeah, like when you see all these guys in the room, you're like, well,
Yeah.
that guy's
All
dead.
these things is not like the other.
And Sean Bean, I thought was going to die too, and it turns out he didn't. So
Just because it's
Yeah,
Sean
he just
Bean,
walks
but,
away
yeah.
from it all. It's just
he
like,
just
really? But
he's
yeah,
like, I'm not going to be part of this. I'm done. Well,
I expected
yeah,
2
pretty-
out of the 5 of these men to die, and only one did, and the other just walked away.
yeah.
So I think we can kind of yada yada to the end scene here, basically, which is at the ice skating rink, and it's funny because there's this not giant, but super long scene of just they got Katarina Witt, an actual figure skater, to just do her routine basically, and it lasts for like a good couple of minutes.
But
You're like,
the
"Are you just
reason
gonna
why
do
we're
this?"
actually here is actually because they denote that the case had to been for skates.
Yeah,
Which I thought was
skate case,
interesting.
ice skate
Yeah,
case. Yeah,
it's
I
an
thought
ice
that was
skate
interesting.
case
But
that's been modified.
what I like about how long they stay on her routine though is then eventually they just zoom out and you
When you
realize
pay
that,
for this, you're
like,
going to
they're
have to get
following
something
her
out of
the
it,
whole
right?
time.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
But yeah, I love the fact
Yeah.
that when they pan out, you see there's a sniper on her. Like they're gonna take her out,
Yeah.
and the whole time I'm thinking,
Yeah.
they're not gonna take her out. It's gonna be one of
They
those
would
things
do
where
that to Katarina Witt.
it's gonna bound off. But no, they kill her. She
Yeah,
did.
they do.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Gruger tries to bluff the Russians, and what
Yeah.
you don't do is you don't play
You don't-
roulette with a Russian,
We
man.
never play roulette with the
Because-
Russians.
And he
That's why it's
loved
called
that
Russian
figure
roulette.
skater. But in the end, he's just
You
like,
know?
meh, I love the case more.
That's a great move.
Oh,
Look at
very
that,
well
eh?
done.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you can't have great makeup all the time, I guess. But
Yeah, that bullet hole.
it's
yeah.
very obvious. But either way,
But
pretty cool.
What I like about this scene too is he is in an impossible situation, which they discussed a little earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like he has to find a way to not get killed by the person he's selling the case to, because it's easier to just kill him and keep your money. So it's just like he has to come up with
He's
this
got to
crazy
figure out how he's
scenario.
going to do it. Yeah. So he
And
went
his way
present in
is
that
to
part. Yeah.
Because he got
is
the
to
fake
sort of
cash earlier. They tried to
use the-
fake him out earlier.
yeah.
And
So
they
he has
didn't
to
do
use
it
the
that
figure
time.
skater and the Russians' affection for her as like leverage, but it's not enough.
No.
Not nearly enough.
Well, and
But
that's
it's
kind
the only
of
play he had, really.
that's really the running
But-
theme of this movie is that the bad guys are obviously better than the good guys in most of the scenarios. Like it's almost like, obviously De Niro's character, he clues into what's going on and he tries to avoid things as much as he can, but like a lot of these things play out regardless of what he thinks, right? Which is great, I think. Because a lot of times you get like the main lead, thwarts the issue just before, the figure skater gets killed. Nope, not in this movie. This movie, people die. That's just what happens.
As crazy
Well,
as it
the
is,
fir-
this
the figure
movie
skater got
feels
killed in
real
this
and
film,
grounded.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
more real and grounded than it should, which is why I liked it. It's
But
the opposite of the next movie we're about to discuss.
yeah, yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah,
I don't.
so
I
that's
don't
the
think
end
we
of
need
this
to.
anyway.
The problem is that a lot of this movie, there's a lot of, there's not a ton of substance. I will guarantee that it's not a very deep dive. It's one of those movies that you can watch while browsing your phone, if you want to. Is it stellar material? No, I don't think it is. But is it entertaining? I think it's an entertaining movie, and I think the story is decently done. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination. We've seen this before in cinema. This scene is brutal. This scene is
Yeah.
absolutely
This scene was
brutal.
the most like macho, goofy scene for me, just because he's just like,
It's goofy, but it also goes back to his character, though. His character is all about doing things for himself. He doesn't rely on anybody else, and in this scenario, he has to rely on somebody. So he's still gonna monitor it as much as he can, right? But I do like right after they pull out the bullet, he's like, "So now I'm gonna pass out."
Yeah,
and then he literally passes out.
Like,
he holds on enough.
Very Mary Sue in a sense. Like he could just like kind of do
Yeah.
everything, and it's like, I need to see you fail.
Only
a bit.
saved.
The only reasons he would fail is by happenstance or somebody else's. Like he
But
knocks the.
Well,
if
no,
you look at
it's
it,
like
he does
Jody
fail
said.
a
Like
couple times.
he fails a lot, and
He
things
does
do
fail a
happen
lot.
despite his
Yeah,
intervention.
he tries, and even though he intervenes,
I wouldn't say he is
still
a Mary Sue.
Like for
He
instance,
acts
there's
like
the one.
one.
There's that
with his
massive car
confidence
chase.
and-
There's
but-
the massive car chase where the car
Yeah.
ends up going off of the like undone ramp, like the ramp that's not finished yet. And then
Yeah.
you see De Niro and I think it's Reno are shooting down at the car that has the girl in it.
Yes,
And it's on
and-
fire.
that
of
was
course,
one of my
because it's
favorite
Hollywood.
And De
scenes,
Niro
actually.
is like, he's rightfully pissed off because he's like, I can't get down there to deal with this. Like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna
Yeah.
do? Jump down and die? Like, I'm gonna break a leg,
Mm.
right? Like, I'm done. Like, there's
yeah,
nothing. That's a
no,
failure.
I like that whole scene. I like that whole scene and how it was played out. How there was like the team of guys and they pulled him out before the fire like took over, and there was like they landed on sand and it was very practical and like it was very real. And
The thing I also like is cars don't magically blow up in this movie either.
Just that one.
No, they get wrecked.
Just the one. Yeah, they just get
Well, I mean,
wrecked.
that
and
didn't
actually, you
magically
mentioned
blow
the
up, though.
truck
That
earlier.
was
The truck
lit on
earlier, I think,
fire.
is a perfect example of the effects in this movie because I don't think they actually wanted that truck to go back upright, but that was the shot they got.
And it looked cool.
Yeah, it
It
literally
righted
goes on
itself
its
and kept
side,
going.
slides
Yeah.
across the car, and then
Yeah.
kind of rights itself back up again
Yeah,
because just
keeps
the
driving.
inertia, right? Yeah, it's really weird, but
It's a really good stunt drivers
it
knowing,
looks
oh,
neat.
no, I can
It
do
looks
it.
really cool,
I can
though.
do it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, he added to the end. Robert De Niro and John Reno win. They get the case.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
sorry,
for the most
I'm
part,
just
yeah,
putting
like,
some
you know.
here. There we go.
Yeah.
Even though it's your show, I still have admin rights to it. But Jonathan Pryce's character, I really enjoyed. I liked for the little time we saw him. We didn't see him through a lot of the movie. Like a lot of it doesn't really have him in it. I would say maybe he had 15 minutes of screen time the entire movie. Maybe 20.
Yeah, probably not even. I don't even
But
agree with
I do like his demise. I like all the stuff leading up to him and how he interacts with everybody else. I think it's a good part for him, and I like when he plays a villain. I don't like it when he plays a nice person. He plays a villain much better, in my opinion.
Which scene would you hold up, Jody?
Honestly, I'm okay with almost everything in the movie. I think all the practical car scenes I think are fantastic. I think they still hold up to this day. You know, obviously the cars that are in it are old now, but you know, just the way that they did. I liked how they didn't overdo the car scenes. Like we didn't have these spectacular, you know, huge crashes with huge massive explosions. We had cars that were flipping and once in a while they would upright and stuff like that. Like
three chases. Three car chases in total in the whole movie.
3 chases, yeah. One of which is actually a fairly long one. It's like probably
long.
about 6-7 minutes total. The one that ends with the ramp
But
is probably
feels
the longest
grounded.
one.
You know,
It does feel very grounded. Yeah,
There's nothing more unpalatable to me than a Fast and the Furious movie.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love Fast and Furious movies, but I like them for a completely different reason. I look at them as a farce. They're a parody of what would normally happen, right? So if I'm in the mood for that, I'm okay with that. This is I like the effects of this one because this is more practical. This is the crashes and the chases that you see in this movie are something you could potentially see on the 401 during rush hour. Okay, like this is totally possible.
On the 401,
if you drive in Brampton, you would definitely know that this is very possible to happen.
Yeah,
right. Like a lot of this stuff. But just overall, yeah, I think a lot of the scenes hold up. I think if I had to say what didn't hold up, the arena area I think was a little weak. I thought there would be way more reaction going on. There would be mass panic going on. Well, this arena
Well,
as
yeah,
well. I
like
think.
people get shot and stuff. Like
Tons of
literally,
tons
like
of
amongst the crowd.
bystanders
So
get
many
killed
people.
in this
Yeah,
movie.
tons of bystanders do
Tons.
get killed in this movie.
And there's no
just
cops
watching.
anywhere. Like that's the craziest thing about this movie. Like
Yeah,
the
well,
amount
the
of
cops
death and
do show up, but they
destruction.
always show up late, right? Like they're
Yeah.
super late. But like look
The
at
only
look
time
at
the cops
this is
show up
the
is in that
evacuation
tunnel.
right here.
Where they
Yeah.
like the cop car chases them for 30 seconds and then not even like 10
Yeah,
seconds.
and then they're like,
flips over.
we give up.
Like,
Yeah,
they flipped
exactly.
over.
But
Like-
overall, I think I think most of the movie holds up. I don't like the scene with the surgery. I think it's a little overdone. I understand why they put it in, but on the other hand, I don't think it really holds up well. It looks pretty fake for me anyway. And there's one angle where you see it, and it almost looked like they've added like an extra like 10 pounds to one side of De Niro's body, which I think is just part of the prosthetic. But obviously they had to do it, but they can't really cut into him. Obviously, he's not that much of a method actor, I don't think. But it's but overall, I think for the most part, I think most of the scenes hold up. If I had to actually pick, I would say the car chases are by far the stars of the show in this movie. But
see, would you hold up, Murphy?
So for me, this movie like was very pulled me in, pulled me out. This is cool.
It is.
This is kind of dumb. This is cool. This is kind of dumb, and it was hard to like stay with it. But one of the scenes that actually pulled me in, and this is why I'm very surprised that you think like Stellan Skarsgård as Gregor wasn't anything, because this scene for me, I've decided to call it Kids with Guns. This scene just like shows
we're in
the
front of
menacingness that he is.
Oh yeah, this was crazy.
This is so crazy, dude.
Yeah, okay.
It was
I'll
hard
give you
for
that.
me to watch, actually, as the father of a young child.
I could only imagine,
like
right?
this
Like,
The only
let
thing
the
that
guy
bothers
out
me
there?
about this scene is the guy that he's with, which I can't remember his name. But the guy that he's with, I don't think reacts with enough fear. Like this guy's about to
he's
shoot
supposed
kids.
to be like a
No, because he knows he has a
Russian gun
secret gun
trader.
too. Like he thinks he's got Stellan Skarsgård by the balls here.
Yeah.
With his secret gun.
Just imagine what I'll do to you if you try anything. Now give me my money.
Like that's his lines. Like, I would do that to a little girl I don't know, and I don't particularly like.
man.
her. Imagine what I do
Your
to
mic
you.
is just going.
Your
nuts
mic
here.
is going nuts, Murphy.
Yeah.
Not good.
It's like da da da.
Yeah, you get some bad static.
Put down the gun.
Put down the gun.
Down the gun.
Yeah, Murphy, your mic is no good, man.
Yeah, something's wrong with it.
Where did that come from? I should make you strip.
Now where's my package?
It's right behind you.
Oh, that's a brutal kill, though. And then it just goes right over to that scene. It's like you go from like some guy getting shot in the head. To,
Oh, geez, Murphy. No,
Yeah,
you
Murphy,
got to
there's
reset
something
your
definitely
mic
wrong
or
with that
something.
mic.
I'll talk about my the scene I would hold up.
all right.
Well, fire
I
mine
don't know
up,
if he
Murphy,
actually
and I'll
has
talk
my
about
scene queued or not, because I
it.
did
No,
actually
he
pick a
didn't.
scene.
Oh no, he didn't.
I don't think it's.
Oh, geez, no. You get out of here with that mic, man.
Okay.
This is my favorite.
Shooters. Here? Shooters here.
This goes back to the
Tell
whole
you no trick.
De
Hey,
Niro testing everybody, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
what's your problem?
Because something just wasn't adding up with Sean Bean, and it's just
Draw
like
again.
I'm glad they did
You're the
this.
HCL man. Draw it again. Just a simple diagram. Just draw it again. Draw what you saw. Draw it again. Draw it again. Two shooters. Car comes through here. Shooters across from each other. Kill each other dead. Oh my, where'd you learn that? Huh? In the regiment. What regiment was that? The 22nd Special Air Service. What's the color of the boathouse at Hereford? What's the color of the boathouse at Hereford? I don't like your attitude. The color of the boathouse. Oh, fuck off! You got the gun. I'm unarmed. Do something. Go ahead, do something.
She's just like, you're so bad at this, you're afraid of me, and you're so bad.
But one thing I do like about that is, if you notice the reaction from the other people, some of them jumped up and some of them just sat there.
Yeah, which he's probably
really
viewing
tells
that
you.
as well.
You get your money
Yeah.
when we get the kiss.
The others too.
That is what I understood. Come on, we've gotten the word. We're moving.
Hopefully Murphy's mic is working now.
So they ambushed
Oh, that's better.
Sean
It's
Bean
good
with
now, yeah.
coffee. Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah. Do you have my clip at all?
no, I've got
What scene did you pick,
some
Jody?
audios.
Oh, the car chase.
Oh no,
I
no,
thought
actually,
that was the scene you picked.
Oh no.
no, I did pick one. It was the oh, I'm just trying to remember the actual scenario now. Hold on, let me just. It was basically where he's like mocking him. De Niro's mocking. Who is it? He's mocking one of them, and he's like, "It's amateur hour."
That's when he wants more money.
Yeah.
Is when he
Yes.
says it's
Yeah.
amateur hour.
Which is like
Because
basically just
wants-
before
that was
that
the
scene
scene.
there.
He wants to know what's in the case. He's like, is it explosive?
Yes,
Is it,
that's
like,
it. That's the scene. Yeah.
anything like that? She's like, I don't know, and I can't tell. Well, she's like, I can't tell you. He's just like, well, if it's gonna be amateur hour bullshit instead of the 20,000,
Yeah, now it's 100,000.
I want 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which actually is the scene just before you played this clip, basically.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, that's my
yeah,
favorite part of the
okay,
movie.
So I
Nope.
admittedly.
Oh,
did
there
look
goes your
at
mic
Mic's
again.
going again.
Oh, fuck's sake.
You gotta stop being a cool kid and get a better computer.
Yeah,
At least that's what Jaemeel says.
I agree. Mac
Feels like it's his Mac. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
they're the anti-computer. They're not even computers.
I have a Mac.
I've-
It's fine.
All right. Well, let's
anyway.
move
Yeah,
on from this.
so
Which
what do we do
performance
now?
would we hold up
Yeah, yours is good right now.
for the next few seconds?
Oh,
Fuck, I couldn't honestly tell you any of the performances. Like I was so like dried out by Robert De Niro, and I don't even know.
Jonathan
If there's
Price's,
anything that
I think,
stood
is
out.
about the only one that
Yeah,
I would
Jonathan Pryce
I
was
would
pretty good,
recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rest of them
I
are
like
pretty.
John Reno fine.
Yeah, but John Reno's
Like, did
playing
he
John
do
Reno.
really
It's just
anything?
it's true.
Yeah.
Like it's every literally give him a sniper rifle and it's now the professional.
Honestly,
No,
the
actually,
performance
no,
for
I
me,
don't
it
know what
was
I'm thinking.
short. It was
Stellan
Sean
Skarsgård.
Bean.
Yeah,
Sean
I think it was
Bean
Stellan
just
Skarsgård.
played that character he was playing really well. He seemed stressed out.
but
He
he
was
still
sweating
played
bullets.
nervous Sean Bean. Like it's we
There's a lot of typecasting in this movie.
yeah, I would say if I had to pick one, I would pick Jonathan Pryce, but I can also understand why you'd want to pick Stellan as well. That one scene there is definitely very menacing.
Oh yeah, he
for
was
sure.
menacing.
Like if he's willing to do that in the broad daylight in front of a school and just straight murder a guy in his car and somehow still get away where nobody's like, what was that? Noise?
Nobody's like, what was that
What
noise?
was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is all that red stuff all over the window? And actually, you see
I
him
did like the
later, and he's
cut to
driving the
this one.
same car, and like the window's fine. So he obviously had time to clean it.
Well, he must have called the guy in Pulp Fiction to like.
Oh, maybe the
wolf.
cleaner. Yeah.
Called the wolf.
Yeah. The only thing I think that was good about Robert De Niro in this movie was the fact of the little quips that he says, like the little kind of sarcastic comments that he says. I think were well delivered, but overall, I don't think anybody is phenomenal in this movie. But there are some decent performances for sure.
The setting aesthetic, it's a bit gray. Like it's
very gray.
It's nothing
very
to look
Very
at.
muted. And that was an intentional design. They even told like background actors not to wear anything bright and colorful, and they had to wear like pastels and stick.
Because it's the gray area.
It's a gritty movie. Yeah.
It's the gray area.
Like even
One
the
thing I do
cars,
like about
even the cars are boring in this movie, but
yeah,
the crashing
Cars are
of them
always
is
boring.
pretty fun.
I like
Harvey
the
Keitel.
examination
Harvey Keitel
on
would
the
be a good for this role.
difficulties. Your
Harvey
mic's
Keitel, yeah, there you go. That would be a
go,
good pick.
going out again.
Yeah, your mic is going a little weird again.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel is a good pick. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, So it's like an examination of the difficulty of trying to do something like this, like to sell somebody who would just rather kill you and things like that, like trying to solve this impossible situation, criminal as it may be.
Yeah,
It's still an
you're
interesting
screwed either way you
examination.
go on this scenario.
So
There's no good answer on this one. Yeah.
yeah, so I think there is a little bit more intelligence here. I think this is a pretty good movie. Um, Setting aesthetic, yeah, like I say, just
Yeah.
great. And if it's
Do I think
intentional, fine, but it's like,
I don't
all
think
on
this
the
movie
eye.
deserves any awards or anything, but
No, no.
I think it does exactly what it set out to do, which is make a kind of heist slash, gritty kind of heist movie in a way, where there's a lot of double crossing, and I think it does that well, and it's entertaining. So, and that's what I watch a movie for. So, I'm okay with it.
It is entertaining. I definitely feel like it's more of a heist movie than entirely a spy movie. It was like a heist IRA.
Well,
get
one of the reasons why I
whatever it is
picked
we're
this was
getting,
because you guys told me spy movies, and I thought to myself, well, it'd be kind of cool to have movies with ex spies in it because all these
I
guys
like
kind
that.
of
I like this
No,
pick.
I
are
agree.
they have spy qualities to them, but they're not actively spies now. Like these are all people that are
I
hired
like that.
guns now, right?
I think we
I
nailed
like
it
that
with
we got
these
the
picks.
broad
As far as that
spectrum.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I think all three of these are solid picks for being the spy genre.
different aspects of it.
Yeah.
Different
Yeah.
aspects of it.
Like it
Think you
certainly
can keep
wasn't
your
the
mic.
first one I wanted to pick, but it's
Oh yeah, he
I,
wanted
I
to go a little more obvious spy in the beginning.
I did, yes.
Murphy
Yeah.
didn't like that.
No, but that's okay.
All
I'm
right,
okay with
Murphy, see if your mic holds together long enough.
All right, we got movie morsels of Ronin 1998. 300 stunt drivers were employed to give the final chase scene that required a amount of metal crunching realism. A total of 80 automobiles were destroyed during the filming, and this movie has a body count of 34 people.
Yeah,
To make
mostly
it look like
bystanders, like people just getting shot left and
people
right.
just
It's
randomly walking
ridiculous,
by
man.
and getting shot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
like GTA, man, I'm telling you. To make it look like Robert De Niro and Natasha McCallum.
Oh, there goes your mic again.
Don't tell me that. Is it still
It's
popping
true.
off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
there
it
it
just
goes.
keeps dropping.
No, no good. No, it's
The
just
fuck?
staticky and sounds horrible.
It's staticky and sounds horrible. Maybe
Yeah.
I need to turn my gain down. Is that better?
No,
No.
No.
sounds like you have a loose cord or something,
Shouldn't.
something like that. But anyway, we'll come back to the morsels while Murphy figures out his stuff.
All right.
How
Rewatchability.
about now?
Oh, yeah.
That's good right now. So let's just run
Yeah.
with it.
Go for it. Get them, rattle them off real quick, Murphy.
Yeah, to make it look like Robert De Niro and Natasha McCallum were actually driving during the car chases, right-hand drive cars were used with the passenger side made to mirror the real controls. The cast members
Oh, that's
then
smart.
mimicked, the stunt driver's movements. Skip Sudith, Larry, requested to do his own stunt driving during the car chases, and John Frankenheimer agreed. Frankenheimer told Sudith, "I don't want to see any brake lights." The script originally called for Sam chasing Gregor in the arena to stop at the railing. However, while shooting the scene, the stuntman accidentally toppled over the railing, falling hard on the stone surface below. Director John Frankenheimer decided to leave that accident in the film, which was one of the stunts I was like, oh, that looked like it hurt when they like.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and thinking, wow.
You're super quiet now, Murphy, but at least you're not staticky.
We can hear
The
you though.
three actors of this movie have played the three actors of this movie have played the antagonist in three separate James Bond movies. Sean Bean in GoldenEye in 1995, Michael Lonsdale in Moonraker in 1979, and
Oh,
Jonathan
yeah.
Pryce
Oh,
in Tomorrow
yeah,
Never Dies in
Moonraker.
1997. As well as being successful Bond villains to Pierce Brosnan's 007, Sean Bean and Jonathan Pryce both starred in Game of Thrones. This
True
is my
enough.
favorite movie morsel that I found out. Ron Jeremy flew to Paris to film a small part in the film that was eventually cut by the studio.
Oh.
Good. Ron Jeremy's a piece of shit.
Well, he still has his Ghostbusters cameo, so I guess he's okay there.
Yeah. Robert De Niro opens the film. Okay, this is what I found one of the ridiculous things in this film is Robert De Niro's guns progressively got bigger in
Yes.
each encounter with him as a weapon. Robert De Niro opens the film stashing a Colt 1911, which he later uses at the bridge ambush, as well as a Sig P-228 9mm for his later carry handgun. He uses an HK-69A1 Grant a pistol 4mm grenade launcher to disable the lead car, then
There goes
fires
your
a
mic
pistol
again.
Sig 551.
Yeah.
Got to
Let's
upgrade.
suffice it to say, we don't need to know the names of the guns. They were bigger and bigger guns.
Bigger and bigger and bigger.
By the
and
time he got to the bazooka, I was just like, okay, well, they're definitely gonna beat these guys. Like it's like they're just like guys
at
driving in cars.
this point, your
He's
dick
sitting
is
there
bigger
with a
than the other one.
bazooka.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
pulls out an
seriously.
M249 at one point, and I'm just like, okay, that's just game over at that point.
That's a
Some
big gun.
radio news, including BBC and CNN, report about the end of the hostilities between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. After decades of bloody fight caused by the IRA, which used terrorist tactics as protests for the British invasion of Irish grounds. Since that, it addressed the real-life IRA ceasefire happened on July 19th in 1997. This movie was filmed from November 3rd, 97 to March 3rd, 98. For ending, with the conflict started during in 1969, Northern Ireland's riots and the radio news add that a strong reason for the ceasefire is the capture and killing of Seamus O'Rourke, which had been reported by IRA staff as a descendant. It turns all the movie into a fictional secret operation to assure the end of the IRA's conflict. It's confirmed by Sam's revelation to Deidre at around 1 hour and 51 minutes that he's still a CIA agent and he's not there for the silver briefcase, but he's there for Seamus O'Rourke, implying too that the briefcase contents would avoid IRA ceasefire. The original ending, and this is something that you touched upon earlier, Davan, the original ending had Deidre outside the cafe where Sam and Vincent are, thinking about whether she should enter or not before deciding against it. And as she walks to her car, she's taken by the IRA, who has betrayed and who will presumably kill her. In his commentary in the DVD, John Frankenheimer claims that the previous audiences disliked the ending, saying that they did not want to see Deidre die. A second ending was filmed where Deidre walked away after Sam walked out of the cafe. According to Frankenheimer, this ending was also disliked by the preview audience, who thought it was the setup to a sequel and described it as too Hollywood. Frankenheimer agreed
the right
with
one.
this as well. While Frankenheimer liked the original ending, he conceded that within the investment MGM UA had made in the film, they had to listen to the audience, and so the final ending where Deidre does not appear and her fate is left up in the air was used. The original ending is included on the special edition DVD. Ronin fared moderately well at the box office. It was second highest grossing film in the United States during its opening weekend, grossing $16.7 million behind Rush Hour. And $26.7 million in total.
All right.
Was
There goes your mic again, Murphy. There goes your mic again.
I was almost done too.
Suffice to say, it made money.
How's it now? So almost done. Ronin was 1998's 11th highest grossing R-rated film. And yeah. Cinematography, Robert Frace, edited Tony Gibbs, music by Ella Cimerel, distributed by MGM Distribution, released in September 25th, 1999 at 121 minutes. $55 million was the budget, and the box office made $70.7 million for Ronin.
Turned a profit, but not much.
Not much, just barely.
Yeah.
All right. Rewatchability, fellas. Would you watch this one again?
I wouldn't watch it every year. But once every 10 years maybe. So
Okay.
I think it is rewatchable. It definitely is one of those movies that you should watch at least twice, because you do see a lot of the subtleties that you missed in the first viewing. So it's one of those 2 watches to begin with thing. But
Might take you up on that as far as watching it a second time.
When you watch it the second time, be very aware of what Sam is doing, because almost every scene Sam is either eyeing somebody or he's paying attention to somebody that's going doing something. And he's doing that. It's almost like he's always doing some sort of market research, so it's one of those movies that, it's kind of like watching Pulp Fiction, right? You watch it the second time, you notice a lot of stuff you didn't see the first time around. So Reservoir
Alright, does
Dogs.
it hold up?
Same idea.
What about you, Murphy? Would you rewatch it? Let's pick up the pace though, fellas. It's getting real late where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'd rewatch this one. It wasn't totally grasping me. I think again, if it had a different lead, I might be a little more behind it. But ultimately, yeah, I could leave it. I could leave it behind. I don't know if I'd rewatch it again.
Alright. For me, it doesn't really have a lot of rewatchability. I'll watch it the second time just to see if there's anything there, but for me, it's not a big rewatchable. But does it hold up? I think it does. Not for rewatchability, but it's for just a good movie experience that holds up to this day. Yeah, I thought it was interesting,
Can you watch
grounded
it
enough.
20 years later and still enjoy it? Yes, I think you can.
Yeah,
I would say
think
it holds
so.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the older it gets, it's not gonna be as well. Like the best parts of the movie are the car chase scenes, but those are few and far between, and the acting is very noticeably bland. So I don't think it's gonna hold up for me.
I think a B movie is a good spot for this one, probably. So that makes
I would agree.
sense. Murphy, you're gonna hate this, but your mic's doing this again. We can't do this on and off mic thing all night. I'm gonna do the synopsis on Atomic Blonde.